Okay, we're glad to have you stay with us on the show this morning on ITV, this beautiful Monday morning. And I already have my guests in the studio and extracting a couple of issues, particularly in the build-up to the 2019 general election. Well, we're actually counting up to that day. Campaigns are already in full swing. You can be expecting jingles will soon hit the traditional media, particularly radio and television, asking the electorate to vote for them based on either what they've done, if they've been there for 4 years, up to, 4 years or thereabout, or if they're just coming in, they're telling you this is what I'm going to do. For those who have been there, it's Judgment Day. That's what some people say. And for those who have the intention of coming in, well, the pressure may not really be on them, so to speak, because it's a case of where we've tested this person before. We see what he's been able to do. We've seen what she's been able to do. And now let's give this guy a try based on what he has said. Well, all of that decision is actually entirely yours. Welcome on board the show this beautiful Monday morning. I have with me in the studio a legal practitioner, Sir Adams Aliyu, is a constitutional lawyer and notary public. Sir Adams Aliyu, many thanks for joining us on the program. I also have with us in the studio a former chairman of the Buhari Media Organization. I'd like to thank very especially a journalist per excellence, a public communication expert. I'd like to thank my good friend Austin Brymer for taking time out to be part of the program this morning.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
We expected Faraz Okberi and Ustaze Joshua Abu to be part of the program, but somehow it just didn't gel. Some other things came up and they couldn't meet up this appointment. But in any case, we appreciate them for their interest. Okay, let's start off with the plans by the EFCC to monitor campaign funds. I'd like to start with the lawyer. What, in your opinion, informed this decision by the EFCC? We heard this was the fallout of a conference, a training for the 36 state governors in Abuja, organized by an organization, don't want to mention the name now, and then the EFCC say they don't want to repeat of what happened during the Jonathan's administration 2015 election, and so we're going to put our searchlight, we're going to put our eyes on how political parties get donations and get funds. Let's take it off from there by Adams Aliyu.
Well, statutorily speaking, the EFCC is an acronym for Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. So far as well, if there's any financial crime committed anywhere under any guise, the EFCC is free to do so. But the fact and issue now is that this is a political situation. And it is the Constitution that provides for INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, to monitor political parties, overlook, examine their expenditure, audit them, and even publish it for public consumption. This is encapsulated in the detailed schedule, part 1 of the Section 14, specifically Section 15, that INEC can monitor political parties' finances, check their register, etc. With the EFCC, if you look at the Electoral Act 2010, nothing empowered the EFCC as it were to go and monitor political parties, examine their records. But if INEC is to do its job, it cannot do it without the assistance, or even you and me, we now have whistles. You can blow whistle, They can now hand over people to EFCC code of conduct to prosecute. So EFCC is not saying on its own that it wants to monitor finances, check all this, them, that is the work of INEC. But if you are found wanting, if you are found using more than stipulated for campaigns, then you are actually committed a financial crime. It must be that countries and tribes. Elections are monitored. You don't just take public funds and waste it in elections. So EFCC is acting within its powers because it is tangentially allowed to investigate and prosecute financial crimes. Although in this case, being a political setting, it is INEC that is empowered by Section 15 of the Third Schedule to monitor, investigate all these crimes. If they want to prosecute, INEC will not prosecute. It will use the EFCC. That's where EFCC comes in.
Okay. It will appear by Mr. Saliu, you're not really on one side. You're not defining where you stand on this matter. In one breath, you said because it's political matter, it is the statutory responsibility of INEC to monitor election. And then in one breath, yes. And then in one breath, you're saying it is not EFCC's job statutorily, but in another breath, you're saying that EFCC can. I don't get it.
If you are committed financial crime,
yes,
whether politically, morally, or sociologically, EFCC has right to prosecute you.
Okay.
So that is why the head of EFCC man will say that it cannot hold his arm and watch people squander public money. You may have committed a financial offense to embezzle money and use public money. That is why they are to prosecute. EFCC is not to investigate, but is to prosecute.
Okay. Austin, what are your thoughts against the background that the position of EFCC on this matter is to forestall a recurrence of what transpired in 2019, where over $2 billion meant for fighting insurgency, purchase of arms and ammunition to fight insurgency, were diverted for campaigns for election years?
I think my learned elder brother is absolutely right. The EFCC has the powers to prosecute any financial crime, whether it is political, economic, social, cultural, whatever. You see, if any group of persons believes the EFCC is overstepping its bounds, the courts are there. The EFCC have gone to states to investigate financial crimes. And some state governors have gone to court and they lost. So when you want to define, you want to cocoon the powers of EFCC within a specific domain, you go and test waters in the law courts. So I think even the point of these campaign funds, they are important. Where do they come from? Public funds. Well, there is a link that some money have been put in place for campaign through public institutions, like was done during the previous administrations, where NNPC, CBN, oil companies, federal organs were donating money for campaigns. These are public funds, money meant for rehabilitation of roads, building schools, equipping our hospitals, making sure that we have power supply, water supply, and all this. And the money is what are put into campaigns. What is campaign? Just jamborees, hiring vehicles, chartering planes, and getting people moving mass, giving $1,000 to crowd to come and show solidarity. And our resources are filtered away in this manner. Almost every 4 years, this continues to repeat itself and replicate. I mean, the system has to grow and get more and more substantial to know how to cope this. I think the EFCC is up in this game. And whichever way they do it, so long as they are free, they are fair in handling this exercise, I think they should move it. All
right, but by Mr. Leo, let me come back to you, because I said a while ago that it looks like you're not very well defined in the points that you made as it relates to this monitoring of campaign funds or donations to parties. But it's on record that political parties, as it relates to campaigns, survive through donations from either individuals or corporate organizations. This happens in all climes. I mean, using the US, for example, this happens. So if the EFCC is saying that they're going to monitor how these funds are coming in for the political parties for their campaigns, aren't they overstepping their bounds? Because the opposition party is already saying this is a strategy to stifle them, to make it difficult for them to get funds for their campaign, against the background that within the context of Nigeria, the ruling party has access to funds to drive their campaigns.
Let us come into equity with clean hands. If we do know, if you want to start campaign, you gather money from all resources.
Yes.
No problem. What the EFCC is saying, you must account for it. There must be a list, register of donors, what they donated, etc. So it can be verified. We will all alive in principle. When money that was meant for political campaign was turned to jamboree, so people allegedly share this, and they are still in court. So have been decided. It is that non-repeat performance that the EFCC wants to ensure this time around that the Electoral Act 2010 is in focus, that it will transpass the preserve of the Electoral Act will be actually in. Once anything novel is initiated in this country, some people are used to be prejudicial, they are presumptive, they are speculating, they are even judgmental without evidence. From what we have heard and what the books have said, no party will be exonerated. The sitting government, opposition party, smaller parties, bigger parties, they are all amenable to be verified, your sources of income, how you are spending this, and where you got them from. Because the idea of jamboree with public funds should stop. The present administration stresses itself as anti-corruption, anti-graft policy. So the old agencies, so that was conduct, NBA, National Judicial Commission, all of them, they should work together in tandem. So I'm sure, because it's realized crime, most realized crime, you are not allowed to spend billions on campaigns. This is limited. And they tried this in 2015, it was not successful. That is why it is being amended now to 12.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come to Austin Primer. I read a comment made by the former NBA president, Olisa Agbakoba, saying, he said that conceptually it's a good idea, but we know campaign funds are abused and misused. However, the statute establishing the EFCC does not authorize it to do what it wants to do. The statute gives the EFCC two main mandates: economic and financial crimes. Then he went on to say the framework for campaign financing is contained in the Electoral Act, which is what Vice Adams Ali referred to a while ago. Therefore, abuses of campaign finance are general offenses contemplated within the powers of the police force. That was why, according to him, they strongly recommended under the Justice Mohammed Owaisis Review Panel for Electoral Reforms, they need to have Electoral Offenses Commission. Abuse of campaign finance is an electoral offense. And so for me, according to him, this is quoting him now, it is the work of the police to investigate and arrest people who have broken campaign financing laws, not the EFCC. What are your thoughts on this point of thinking?
Just like I said before, this is a very simple issue. We make mountains out of molehills. He's a respected lawyer.
Yes.
He was the president of And I have no reason to fault his views. They are his personal views. Like we said, we have the final arbiter, the courts are there. You can't say
why should we always say that, Austin? That you know, when people are doing wrong things, yes, and then they tell you, well, we have the courts there. If you are dissatisfied, go to the court. Why don't we do the right thing and avoid going to court? Because in the process of going to court, you have a lot of monies that will be wasted in the process too.
Let me explain to you.
Yes.
My elder brother here is a very sound man. He has very, very strong views about some of these things. If you put 10 senior advocates together, they will speak, they will see an issue, a legal issue from a different perspective. When you ask Jose Coleman, he will differ here. If you call the vice president, a senior advocate, he will express a different view. If you ask him, he will give you a different perspective to this. I'm not a lawyer, so I won't want to controvert back on this matter. The people who have the final say, those who have the final say, are the judiciary.
It's TMI Monday with yours sincerely, Sonny Duke Okosun. Of course, we're looking at the plans by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to monitor campaign funds, donations to political parties ahead of the 2019 election. The Commission says it's doing this just to avoid a repeat of what happened in 2015. Our panelists in the studio, I'd like to thank very specially Sir Adams Aliyu. Sir Adams is a constitutional lawyer and, of course, a notary public. Once again, we thank you for joining us on the program. I also want to thank very specially our good friend, Austin Brymer. Austin was the former chairman Buhari Media Campaign Organization. He is now the commissioner on the board of the Police Service Commission, representing South. Austin, many thanks for joining us on the program.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
Okay, so the concern really here has been from the opposition, but we've also had eminent Nigerians, particularly legal luminaries, speak on this matter, that if there have been accusations, allegations against the EFCC of being partisan or of witch hunting opposition members and all of that, there is also that likelihood that carrying out this assignment, that may also happen. But certainly.
Well, I said in good faith and in equity, it's good not to presume. So what the EFCC came out with after a test with 36 judgment is that they want electoral expenses to be monitored, to be reasonable and not squandered. And we have seen cases where people have been prosecuted for using public funds for campaign. The FCC wants to ensure that there is no vote buying again, that it's not a cash and carry affair. Let your manifesto speak for you. And I said, if you look at the premium facie provisions in the Constitution, the FCC is not directly in charge of monitoring, examining the finances of political parties. That's the work of INEC. But if INEC has seen any irregularity, it beckons on EFCC, the collaborating agency, to prosecute. So they are all galvanizing towards the same goal, that cleanliness, open in expenditure, and the parties and their candidates, they are now employed to fill forms, your sources of revenue, how much you got from this and that. And the investigation may even continue after the election, because the FCC is supposed to furnish us, Nigerians, with accounts of how much was paid for the election. That we are still carrying over in court amount that monies that were supposed to be used for 2015 election, but they were diverted, allegedly diverted to wrong hands. That what we are facing, which we don't want a repeat performance. So the initiative is good. People to have equity, have open-mindedness, and not be judgmental without evidence.
Are you saying those who have concerns about it's being politicized have nothing to worry?
They are prejudicial. They don't know. Every party is to be monitored and the finances examined. No one will be exempted, I tell you. If they do so, the aggrieved person always has rights to go to court and seek redress.
Okay, Austin, I asked the question just now that the concerns that this monitoring exercise will be politicized against the background of some of the accusations that have trailed the EFCC in its fight against corruption, which some have described as being selective.
I share the perspective of my senior brother here, and like he said, he has picked some key things. We are too judgmental. And if you look at it down the line, look at even the EFCC Act. We're saying Economic and Financial Crime Commission. What is a financial crime? Nobody says that a crime committed in my bedroom that involves financial transaction is not an economic crime or a financial crime. If a local government councillor spends public fund, it's a financial crime. Whether you are spending it on politics, you are spending it on anything, it's a financial crime. If even INEC misuse public funds in its duties, it's a financial crime. So all what I like to tell the public is that you cannot define the boundary of EFCC as regards the EFCC Act. I challenge our learned brothers and sisters, my learned colleagues, to prove whatever than go to the media and say, I believe, or this should not be, it should not be. We are too judgmental. Why don't you, if you believe EFCC have no powers, like some state governors had done previously, go to court and test your knowledge. If you believe that EFCC have no powers to audit or to investigate local government accounts or investigate financial crimes committed during electoral practices, that the Electoral Act limits EFCC's, go to court and challenge their powers. And you will now find whether or not they have a boundary. So financial crime has no boundary. Economic crime has no boundary within our laws. And so we need to come to terms with this. Besides that, it is important that we begin to be less critical of our institutions. It doesn't say well of us. Look at election, for instance. If security is not provided enough, people begin to snatch ballot boxes, we find thuggery, they begin to kill each other, and the public will shout. The police were not enough. Well, there were no this. If the police are overpowered because they are not allowed to carry weapons, arms, thugs will come with weapons and kill. Now, when you provide enough to stem such kind of development, it's the same way the same Nigerians say, oh, the place was militarized, opponents will be intimidated, a lot of security overwhelmed, a lot of people were afraid. What do you want? What are we really interested in? Let us be less critical of our institutions. We must get it right. And if we have to get things right, we have to be less critical. Let us look at the positives. Let's look at it. Assume, we believe really, there are always misuse of one thing or the other occasionally. But that should not overwhelm the positives that come out of this attempts to make our systems work. It's a continuous process, and I believe that we are going to get it right electorally. Okay.
By Samson Leo, I've also read some perspectives, canvassed in line with these plans by EFCC to monitor election. Apart from the feeling that it's a deliberate attempt to stifle opposition, some have also expressed concern with the fact that within the context of Nigeria, campaigns, are funded by government money, so to speak. Otherwise, a certain governor in one of the southern states has been accused by its own state that he plundered the state to fund the 2015 election for the present government of the Federation. I don't know what your thoughts are along those lines.
Well, it is true because campaign itself in this area, in this country, is unfortunately the other way around. Campaigns are supposed to be predicated on manifestos. And the members of the party finance that political party. If it's 10 naira, you pay every month, you have your membership card. That is how to fund a political party. But in Nigeria, it is different. It's the big powers, the candidates that fund the political party. And by the time you want to campaign, there are 36 states in the federation. A presidential candidate must campaign in all the states. What is campaign? Convoy of cars, hired followers who will be drinking pure water and mud at every bus stop. These are finances, so it is bound to be corrupt. Until we get it right, that there has to be limits. They cannot just spend money like that indefinitely without boundary. And let the political parties to equally ventilate their manifestos. In yesteryears, we had UPN talking of free education, free health, while NPN was talking of housing and agriculture. We don't hear much of manifestos now. Everything has turned to cash and carry. So the EFCC is awake to its duty. Financial crime can be committed when you are executing political activity, sociological activity, even religious activity. If a bishop of a church has embezzled money, EFCC will prosecute him. It's a financial crime. So it's acting in travelis, it's not on travelis. And as I said, the court is always there. If anybody thinks the EFCC is vindictive, is acting ultra travelis more than his power, it should go to court. But
okay, let me come to Austin. From the analogy that Ambassador Salih just made, it therefore means that even the people have also encouraged this seeming huge donations by individuals to political parties. I don't know what your thoughts are along that. How do we stem this tide?
Yeah, I think monitoring campaign funding is one step in that direction. So if the EFCC is stepping up its game to monitor campaign spending, I think this is just one good beginning. We have never had it that way. We always believe that INEC will do that. INEC is highly limited to what it can do. That's why vote buying has become the new norm. Really, security stepped up its game, and you can no longer snatch boxes. And then with the introduction of card readers, you can no longer do a lot of manipulations on the voters register. Then vote buying came up. People can move huge cash to a voting center and tell you, look, if you can show us evidence that you voted for us, here's some money for you. And so now, EFCC is coming in to say, all right, we are going to step up. We may even have to position a person in some of those places to watch how whether money is being exchanged at voting center. Not just during campaigns, we want to subject the political parties through legal means, through INEC, support from INEC, to know how much they contribute, who is doing that contribution, like he said. We need the register of donors. How did they get it? They have the power to monitor. How did the donors get the money? If you're a state governor, you are donating 100 million to a political party for your political party campaign, you must be able to tell the EFCC how you got the 100 million. Is it from your own savings, from your personal account, or state government money? If a candidate who is a businessman is donating money, you must be able to prove that these are from his legitimate earnings. Okay. I think this is a step in the right direction. I believe this is exactly what the EFCC want to do. It's been a lot of abuse, like my learned brother here said, that people just move money around without questioning. Government agencies have been donating, which to me is the worst we've had in those days. I remember 2015 when the parties then were launching their campaign funds. I remember what an NPC donated. An NPC as a government establishment is supposed to donate such money to the party. I know most of the government agencies donated huge cash, and all these things were overlooked. So it is not wrong if a lot of people who knew what happened in 2015 are not crying that there may be a repeat this time. So if we're having an institution who has not been looking into such things, now decide, okay, we're going to pay attention. There's no reason for anybody to raise or to cry over it or raise objection. We should in fact applaud it and encourage them to do it. We should applaud it.
Okay, the point is that one of the ways we can also stop this money bags from taking over these political parties, just like Vice Adam Salih said a while ago, is for the party membership to stand up and be counted by way of donations to strengthen and sustain the party. But within the context of Nigeria, again, of course, the dwindling economic fortunes, how many Nigerians are willing to take from their hard-earned resources and commit it to a political party? Maybe that's the ideal, and they will come to fruition in the days to come. And now let's take this discussion to the next level. There have been serious concerns about security in recent times, and it's our expectations that these issues are looked into and they are addressed, particularly against the background of the 2019 election that is just around the corner. What are your biggest concerns about security in the build-up to the 2019? Let me start with you, Barrister Lee.
Well, the Constitution provides in Section 14 that security and welfare are the primary purposes of government. If a government cannot guarantee security and welfare of people, then definitely be inexistent. So I'm sure with more policemen being recruited now and more observers coming in, more civilization and inventing, cadre that was invented last time, I'm sure there'll be no loss of life in 2019 election. We don't pray for it. Election is not a do or die affair. I like the jingles I see on television that just vote, don't fight. So the younger ones too should not make themselves available for thuggery and ballot box snatching. If you are tempted, refuse that, oh God, you are sending me to do this job. What of your own son? Can he do it? So let them be resolute. We want to live and see a prosperous Nigeria. It's not worthy that people should sacrifice their lives. The government on its own has enough personnel to guarantee the welfare and safety of Nigerians. But it is the political parties, candidates that are desperate. They are very hell-bent. They don't see them losing. They think of luscious ways. And anybody this time around who is caught violating the law will be prosecuted. Before now, we have never seen anybody who has been charged to court for engaging in thuggery, for snatching ballot boxes, for a political godfather sponsoring all these vices. This time around, we are all vigilant. We all have our whistles now. We will blow the whistle if anybody breaks the security and welfare of the voters.
Okay, what are your thoughts along those lines against the background of concerns, particularly with what we saw recently in Metele in Maiduguri, Borno State, with the insurgents taking a whole battalion and bringing it down?
Yeah, security issues are complex. They are not issues that you can break down in the public medium. They're very complex. If you want to look specifically at what happened in Metele, you misinform people. A whole battalion was not brought down by, as far as I know. That was not a statement of fact. And I'm aware that the military formation was attacked, and in an attempt to withdraw tactically, the troops there ran into a hitch, and they lost a good number of troops. But they were not nevertheless brought down. They were still able to retreat, but they lost a good number of troops because they were taken unawares. So we also know how vulnerable that portion of Borno is. I stayed in Maiduguri for over 10 years, so I know that terrain very, very perfectly. I did my NYC there, and I worked there as a journalist for 10 years. So I'm very, very familiar with that terrain. So I can tell you a little bit clearer that the information we got was not exactly the way it came, because most of it came via
social media.
Yeah, okay. Sources. The military don't give out details at once, particularly operational details, in order not to demoralize the troops or to send wrong signals to the parents of Nigerians who are engaged in these battles. So security are complex matters that we need to be a bit circumspect when we are discussing in public media. But nevertheless, I think I need to assure my colleagues and Nigerians that we should not have anything to worry about in 2019. We've come a long way. If you look at how we evolve politically, you know that things are improving. There's no reason for any person to be apprehensive. We are going to 2019 if you know where we are coming from. We've had it so rough and so bad in the past. But if you look at the subsequent elections that will go, you agree with me that elections are becoming safer and even a little more predictable these days. That yes, a good candidate can win now. Any person can beat his chest and say, yes, if I'm popular, I can win. It was not like that in the past. So in terms of security, we were also evolving, and I can see quite a lot of improvement. On that note, I'd also like to speak on the role of my commission. A lot of Nigerians do not even know even the existence of the Police Service Commission. And quite a number of people don't even know what role they play. The Police Service Commission is the only civilian oversight body that looks at the activities of the Nigerian police. We have several oversight bodies in the world, but the Police Service Commission in Nigeria is the most powerful. About 4 exist in Africa. It's not every country that has an oversight body, but it has been discovered that any force, any organization that we call force, that has to interact with civilians need to be checked. People who carry firearms, who has the powers to take life or to protect life, they also need to be monitored. That is how the concept of oversight body came on. And when the Police Service Commission was established way back in the 60s, it was not fully empowered. So they've been all coming and going, and they've been under the Vice President of the country all the while until 1999, when a new act came up. It's a constitutional body. Okay, it's one of the 14 executive bodies established by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the Police Act came up in 2001, which now gave it enormous powers, making it so independent that not even the president can control the Police Service Commission. The decision and whatever the commission does is not subject to the control of any other body except the law, the act that set it up. So the commission has the powers to recruit every police officer in this country except the Inspector General of Police. That is the prerogative of the president. Yes, it's the president. They call it Police Council. 36 state governors and the president. That's the Police Council. Those are people that appoint and dismiss the Inspector General of Police. Every other police officer, from Deputy Inspector General of Police to a constable, are recruited, promoted, disciplined, anything under by the Police Service Commission. So the commission gave such wide power that the commission is supposed to have zonal offices and state offices. But somehow, because of paucity of funds, lack of provisions for the commission, they've been unable to open state and zonal offices. This has reduced or restricted their functions. That is, normal Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians, are supposed to walk to the office of the commission and say, I've been brutalized, I've been treated this, my rights have been denied. Not to the Human Rights Commission. You go to Police Service Commission, get the name and number of the police officer that has treated you badly, or that has done what you are not supposed to do, or bribe is it demanded of you, or you walk to the commission and lay your complaint. We send the investigation, we ask the IG to find out why that has happened. We must hear from the IG, and then we hear from the candidate. We can discipline, we can do anything. It is the powers of the commission. So you find that for this electoral issue, the commission has been able to step up its monitoring team. Since we started monitoring election, because initially we're not involved in election monitoring until complaints started coming from politicians that policemen are being used to rig elections. They're compromising. Yeah, I mean, the two last elections, Ekiti and Osun State, is a case in point. Yeah. Yes, no, that of Ekiti and Osun, less. The one of Edo was even louder. And from Ekiti, the game was raised. Monitoring activity came up more. Yes, there was still some complaint. But Osun, I was involved in Osun monitoring. I was not involved in Ekiti. And you can find out there was less complaint against the police. Less. The police, if you can work on it, because they realize, even the police know that they are being monitored. So you cannot stay in a place and you see a crime being perpetrated and you keep quiet. If you don't, we'll record you. You'll be taken off. Okay, let me just ask a point. This monitoring exercise, which of course has to do with election, the intendment is to ensure that we have
rancor-free elections. But how come we hardly have prosecutions of offenders? We cannot deny the fact that there were offenders in Osun election, there were offenders in Ekiti elections. But it's not in any record that these people were arrested and they are facing prosecutions now.
I think you are not right in that regard, because I was in Osun. I can recall that about 15 persons were arrested by the IG team that was in charge of security in that zone. DIG Joshak Kabila, he even paraded them. They put on INEC gowns and they were carrying INEC bags, and some of them claimed to be journalists, and they were found not to have been. They were arrested and kept in detentions. They were tried. I mean, they were eventually charged to court. And you know as much as I do that you can be in court for the next 5 years over stealing a banana.
Yes.
So long as the lawyers are there to exploit legal windows, you can be kept there. The case could be going on and on. But that does not mean that prosecution is not going on. So it depends on.
Okay, let me get a thought from President Saleh. Yeah.
If you don't hear, you hear of the commencement of a case. You don't hear the end. It means it has suffered from lack of diligent prosecution. Because in law, he who asserts and alleged, he must prove. The judge was not there and is not omnipresent. So the judge will say, with the evidence available before me, I hereby sentence you. How many people, we talk of security, bribery, corruption, how many people have been taken to court to say, well, this is James. You gave bribe to people. The person will agree that he gave bribe. Peter, you took bribe. That one we agree that he took bribe. So along the line, if the prosecution is not diligent, not thorough, the accused will go free. Many of these are allegations and speculations. And conviction cannot be got with allegation and speculation. So people allege all these things, they exaggerate, they are not able to prove. And as he equally said, by the time the matter starts in court, it is not a village setting where the Elogi or the Onwe will just hear the case, give verdict. There are procedure, criminal procedure. There must be evidence in chief. There must be examination in chief. There will be cross-examination. Witnesses, if will be 100, they will be given chance to come and talk. There will be re-examination. Each of them takes time. If the judge is transferred, the matter is to start the nouveau. If one of the persons dies, the matter will start afresh. So there are many things, because it is easier, it is better to jail one person after a long trial than to just put everybody in jail because of allegation. The legal process is thorough, and when it is thorough, people think it drags time and wastes time. So it is diligent, lack of diligent prosecution that has delayed the conviction, which people want to hear. People take.
So who is not diligent in this matter now?
Prosecution has to be diligent.
Okay.
If you allege, you must prove. If you allege that I gave you bribe, you will be able to mention the amounts. You two who took the bribe, you equally agree that you were giving bribe. But how many people would own up? They just speculate. They don't know how much was involved. There are no facts, no figures. The dramatic personage, they will deny. Did you take bribe from this man to vote for him? He say, no, I don't take any bribe. Did you give out bribe to Peter to vote? He say, no. So the matter will die.
All right, Austin, how can the police be more effective in checkmating the new way of what some have described as rigging? Yes, the new way of rigging in our election, which is vote by. I mean, over the years, this has been going on. In fact, in the last two elections, it happened. I mean, it's well documented that it happened. But it looks like while it's happening on the left-hand side, the security agents look the other way, the right-hand side. So I don't know. So you're wondering if we cannot stem this kind of ugly tide, what is now the basis of the monitoring that we're talking about?
Thank you. Vote buying is not It's not as old as you analyze, and it's a new phenomenon. Like I said, we've all been involved in these elections over the years, all of us, either as voters or as contestants. So vote buying came up after a candidate became legitimized. I hope my colleague will agree with me. So it's a new thing. We can be talking of vote buying as it is, as a phenomenon, just after the last 2 elections. It's not as if it's not be existing at a very, very low level. But what I mean is that it's not been such an act that you can openly criminalize. It became phenomenal. So now we're not seeing it as a crime, because it's become the only way of inducing voters now. In those days, you simply intimidate voters and they follow you. Or you just go and carry the ballot box, or you just write results. So now, all those ones have been stymied. So the only phenomenon now is vote buying. And for us to check the vote buying, one, you mentioned about looking the other way. There was no explicit law that says that if you can show to me that you voted for me, I should not give you money. There was no explicit law that exists that. So when you talk about like a kitty issue, yeah, they said a lot of people, they say the incumbent governor gave her for 4,000 naira. And so the opposition had that they give for 4,000. So they increased them to 5,000. There was no explicit, there was no law in the act in the news that say if you do that, you've committed a financial crime or you should be arrested. But if EFCC had been put in the know, there would be a way they can criminalize such transactions. That is why it's important that EFCC comes in now, even monitoring.
So are you saying that
yes,
even though it's not so stated in the statute,
yes,
it's not a financial crime for somebody to bribe an electorate?
Far from it, that's not what I've said.
Okay.
I said in the past,
yes,
because there were no clear definitions of what constitutes vote buying.
yes.
That if you can come to my house and tell me you have voted for me, I give you money. So it from there moved. People used to go to homes of leaders and collect used cash and promise to vote for them. And when they now found that those ones were no longer effective, they now moved to some corners at voting units and stay there and hang around. They sent spies to find out who are voting for them, and they share money. So you see, it kept growing and growing until now.
A form of gratitude.
Gratitude. Yeah. So now it has become an open thing.
Is it gratitude by Saddam Salih? It's not gratitude. It's to buy your conscience. It's buying of your conscience.
Before or after?
During.
So, like I said, no one is saying that it is right.
Yes.
But for it to be criminalized, we must agree that it is a crime. And then the police have to be informed that if you see this and that, you could make arrests. That's why in those days, so police will stand and watch people exchanging money.
Yes.
Who said it's a crime to exchange money? Until it is clear that a criminal act is being committed. One, INEC must inform the police that the act is being violated by this kind of movement or by this kind of act. The police will not just, like in the I'll give you an example of my experience in Oshun. There were certain things that were happening. I called my colleagues and I told those who were there, I informed them, I said, please inform the policemen. There are 2 sides to this. Don't attempt to make arrests during voting. If a crime is committed, please let the act be committed, record it. Merely the people are moving out of that area, you can make arrest. You make arrest of a party leader in that place, they will disrupt voting. Then you have caused more harm. Yeah, more harm than good to the electoral process. So don't disrupt the electoral process by trying to enforce the law. Look for a way of enforcing the law after the voting. Monitor the group, let them go, and you pick them up later. We have to employ this tactic. So there are a lot of things that go wrong, but everything must be tactically handled in order not to cause more harm to the system. So I think there's going to be a great improvement in 2019 because, like I said, the police themselves know that they are being monitored. There are people behind them watching their act, and if you fail to do your act appropriately, you also be disciplined. If you do it in a way that is not satisfactory, you'll be disciplined. So none of them can simply just close his eyes as usual now and say, oh, what made this worse in the past was that the political leadership were always confident that the security agencies will back them up. And so their followers will perpetrate any acts.
Has that changed now? Has that changed now?
It has changed drastically.
Don't you think if you say it has changed now, we'll be beating the gun or jumping the gun? Why don't you wait till the 2019 election?
What I'm saying is that I was in Ekiti. I did not monitor Ekiti, but I was in Ekiti and I was in Oshun. And I know that the incumbent did not enjoy any advantage in terms of security. The incumbent in the past, the incumbent would go to security men when his boys or their thugs know that the security agencies are going to cover them up when they commit acts. They go, the impunity will be so open. You see what they do. It is mainly incumbents who perpetrate these acts of what we call brigandage, snatching of boxes in areas they believe that they are weak, where their opponents are stronger. They do that. But until now, no security agency, in fact, the incumbents are not even given the room to go with their security agency. You can't go with any security we are going to vote. Just maybe one SSS or so. You can't go with policemen. And we warn every policeman, we monitor you. So if anybody commits an act, you record it, you go and pick him up.
Okay.
So it's not.
But you want to add something to that?
Yes, we appeal for security in this election so that no lives will be lost. The campaign are promised to be issue-based instead of vilifying the opposition, your candidate, saying what is not true. Let your manifesto speak for you. It used to be like that before. It is so in a more advanced country. We want to hear the manifestos, and people should make manifesto the parameter to vote for someone, not real peace, the paper dictating issue.
Okay, that's been our discussion segment on the show today, TMI Monday. We hope you had a great time with us on this segment of the show. But just a parting word from our panelist, Austin Adogame Brima, who is the South-South rep on the board of the Police Service Commission, and of course, Sir Adam Saliu. What are your parting words, particularly on your expectations on the 2019 elections?
Yes, I want to assure Nigerians that the elections will be very peaceful and fair and free, and that they should trust Nigerian police more. We have a new Nigerian police under the Nigerian Police Service Commission. I can assure Nigerians they should not just trust the police. Nigerian policemen are now your true friends, and I want to guarantee that.
If you say under the new Nigerian Police Service Commission,
yes,
you're distancing the IGP, does he add up?
No, IGP is part of us.
Okay.
He has to do what is
The
legal.
new IGP.
Yeah, he has to.
Less than 3 years.
Yes, not
That's not new. But that's not new.
No, what I need to
The
explain
IGP is not new.
what I need to do
Yes.
if your parents dance naked, you are likely to follow suit. We are the parents of the Nigerian police.
Okay.
The IGP is a supervisor, is the operational man. If he cannot use the police in his own way, he has to use the police in our own way. So it's a new setting.
Okay.
It's a
But
new
that's Adam
I'm
Saliu.
happy that campaigns are coming up. I enjoy the razzmatazz and the fanfare.
That goes with it.
I go with these people, will now be moving up and down, so we get a Ashrabi, so we get face cap from our shop, 1 square meal, jamboree. I enjoy it. It will keep the idle ones busy for some time.
Okay. I'm sure in another presentation of the show, probably we'll look at the business aspects of campaign, the way money trickles down, who benefits, from campaigns, as it were. It will be a subject on the show in subsequent editions. We hope you find the time to join us. Austin, many thanks for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure, man.
Vice Adams, many thanks for coming on the show.